All this brings us to Mark chapter 3 and the episode we had read out to us a few moments ago. And this episode captures the Pharisees in all their villainy. So, it's another Sabbath day, and Jesus is at the synagogue. This time, there's a man sitting there with a shriveled hand. Some translations of the Bible say his hand was withered or paralyzed or deformed. The point is, the man's hand is useless, which means he probably couldn't work, which means he probably didn't have a job, which means he was probably poor, which means he was definitely vulnerable. Now, he's not the only person at the synagogue. The Pharisees are there too, watching to see if Jesus is going to try and help this man. Not because they feel sorry for this man. Not because they're hoping that, well, this might be his chance to get his life back together. The Pharisees are watching because it's the Sabbath, and they're looking for a reason to accuse Jesus, to get him in trouble. You see, by their standards, by their rules, by their system, healing this man would be classified as work. And Jesus knows this, but he doesn't back down. Instead, Jesus asks the man to stand up where everyone can see him. He wants what's about to happen in full view of the public. He wants this next moment to go viral. And so he gets the man up in full view of the public, and he turns to the crowd and he issues them this challenge. He asks them, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill? Silence. No one dares answer. No one knows how to answer. I mean, what are the Pharisees going to say? That it's only lawful to do evil and kill on the Sabbath? They're not going to say that. But then if they say that it's lawful to do good and save life on the Sabbath, they got no reason to get Jesus in trouble. Jesus has completely outwitted them. And so there's silence. And in that silence, Jesus heals the man's hand like a boss. He doesn't even touch this guy's hand. It's completely COVID safe. He just asks him to stretch it out. And when he does, the man's hand is no longer shriveled, no longer withered or paralyzed or deformed, no longer useless. The man's hand works again. Now, I don't know about you, but this is the part in the story where I'd expect the next verse to go something like this. And everyone was amazed, and they praised God, saying, "We have never seen anything like this." But that's not what the next verse says. Instead, it says this: Then the Pharisees went out and began to plot with the Herodians how they might kill Jesus. How messed up is that? I mean, it's still the Sabbath. Jesus has just asked the crowd, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill? And what are the Pharisees doing? Well, they're plotting to do evil. They're plotting to kill. The very people who were looking down on Jesus for doing good and restoring life on the Sabbath are now the ones spending their time on the Sabbath working out how they're going to take Jesus' life from him. Who's breaking the law now? The Pharisees had missed the whole point of the Sabbath. It was never meant to be about following the system. It was meant to be about rest.